hey, that message on mistakes got a ton of responses. So I wanted to follow up on that. I think that obviously, like, making mistakes, learning from your mistakes is something that is way, way easier said than done, right? Like, it's easy to say, like, bring on the mistakes, but oh my gosh, like, when it actually happens, that's a different story. It's about how do you navigate that. Sometimes I feel like a total idiot. I'm doing something new, I'm trying something different. Just a couple days ago, I was digging into shipping a package internationally, and I talked to somebody who really knows their stuff, and they were like, you have this whole other set of requirements that you have to meet. It was one of those moments where it's like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like I should know this. And it's at those moments where I try and pause and just remind myself that, like, if you're doing something you've never done before, that's kind of the table stakes, is that sometimes you feel like, hey, actually, like, I have no idea how this works. So you talk to experts, or you talk to other people that have never done it before either, and they say, gosh, boy, that's really tough, and you try and figure it out. That's the role of trying things. It's getting feedback, whether it's from experts or other people who have no idea what they're doing. I see this pretty often in the carbon removal space, though. This sense of, like, kind of getting stuck, feeling like you don't know enough or you don't have it all figured out. I was just talking to a friend of mine this past week, and she was talking about, with carbon removal, she feels like she just doesn't have, even the basics, right? Doesn't have it all figured out, doesn't know it, and is really kind of intimidated by, or there's other people that seems to really know what's going on, and this person felt like they were kind of at the end of the pack, really behind on all the stuff that was happening, or even not even just behind, but kind of standing on the sidelines. My sense is that person and people like that are actually a lot further to the front of the pack than they think. Nobody really has this all figured out. Everybody's got maybe some intuition or some mathematical model, and they're all kind of trying to figure it out as we go. But to the people that think that, hey, I'm really at the end, the behind the pack, I'm at the very end, I think a lot of those people, in my experience, are actually probably in the upper end of things. They're probably the ones that are really making the changes. They're the ones that are really trying things. They're ones that are putting themselves out there and being uncomfortable with it. But hey, the story that you're behind the pack is actually kind of comforting at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, oh yeah, there's all these other people that have figured it out, and all I need to do is to figure it out, and then I'll be all caught up. But the reality is, you are near the front. Nobody else has figured it out, and you're the best person to do it. I hear that a lot in, you listen to interviews with different entrepreneurs or different executives or leaders. All of them are continuously just at that cutting edge, being comfortable with, like, okay, nobody knows this. We're in a good spot to make a try at it and learn something, so let's do it. That's the other thing about being on the sidelines, though, is like, if you are on the sidelines, trust me, you are never going to worry about being a fraud. You're never going to worry about doing something wrong. That's by definition what it is to be on the sidelines. If you're not worried about making a mistake, it probably means you're not in a position to. So get in a spot where you can actually try something, where it can not work, and everybody can say, holy crap, that was a total failure. Let's go in this other direction now that we know that that's not going to work. That is the whole nature of the unknown. I've talked about that a couple weeks ago, but I just wanted to come back to it and just point out, look, making mistakes, feeling like you've messed it up, feeling like you really should know a million times more than you should, I'm pretty sure that's just like, that's par for the course. Like, that's table stakes for being in carbon removal. And someday, it'll be different. Someday it'll be more like, oh my gosh, there's just so much in carbon removal. You can just dig into a problem and know that it's going to pay off, know that it's going to work. But that's not the industry today. And so the people that this is attracting are people that are comfortable or can get comfortable, or at least just don't freaking run away completely when things go weird. So there's this really important role in recognizing where you are. And I think often that's hard to do internally. I think self-reflection is a tough skill. And so one thing that we're doing with AirMiners to help with that is to create some kind of external recognition. So coming up in December, we're going to have the first ever Carby Awards. These are basically the Oscars for air miners. And so we're going to be recognizing some of the people in air mining that are leading the way, whether they're kind of publicly recognized already, or some people that are behind the scenes and probably think that nobody knows what they're doing. So there's some people that are very visibly having success, and there's other people that are having success behind the scenes. Some of the people that are visibly successful are actually really successful at some other thing that's not quite recognized. So that's where the Carbies comes in. It's something that we're going to be finding judges. We need people to do great stuff. We don't really have like a closing date for the awards, but because I'm trying to come up with something that's like, oh, like people should do a bunch of great stuff. But if it's in December, if you do something super cool in November, then maybe that'll earn the the recognition from one of the Carbie judges, who at this point are non-existent. But hey, this thing is going to come together. I think the Oscars for air mining is something that's really needed and is really going to provide this kind of like this view of, oh yeah, here's the type of values, here's the type of success that we want to see more of. So the key, whether you're shipping something or launching a new carbon project or just doing something new that nobody has ever heard of, is try things. Talk with experts, get feedback from your team, and share your work. Share things that work or don't work.